Okay, good morning. So there's about 1 million videos out there, at least on 3-strand ice splices. And everybody has a little bit different way to do it. So, but there's a lot of 3-strand splice videos out there. So if you're watching this, you're watching it because you know me, or I'm definitely not the first video to come up on YouTube. But I'm gonna show you some splices today, and I'm gonna do a short splice. In another video, I'm gonna do an ice splice, and then I'll do a back splice. But let's talk about 3-strand manila. Okay, so this is what we have in the US is called a right lay. It curves up and to the right, any way that I look at. And it's made of 3 strands. So, also, I don't have a pen on me right now, but we could make this into what they call a Z lay also. A left lay would be called an S lay. So we got our 3 strands here. You guys can see that. And so those strands are twisted up and to the right. And then we have what are called yarns. And yarns are twisted in the opposite direction. And those what make up each individual strand, right? So these are your yarns, okay? And then breaking down from what makes up your yarns are your fibers, okay? And they'll twist in the same direction as the lay of the line. And these are your fibers. So fibers make up yarns, yarns make up strands, strands make up the 3-strand rope or line, okay? So there we go. And that's just a quick show for you. So what I think I'm gonna talk about today first is the short splice. And so a short splice is designed to fix a rope or be strong, and its disadvantage is that it increases the size of the rope. So unlike a long splice, it's going to increase your size. So what I usually do here is I don't lay out too much. Some people like to lay out a lot. Some people like to add tape to stop. I don't add tape to stop, okay? That's not something I do. So what I'll do is I'll inlay just a little bit. You don't have to, you can lay less than you think you need to do this properly, okay? So we'll make it about that. Maybe one more here. And now what I'm gonna do is marry them. I wanna make sure that if I'm making something like a grommet, or if I'm connecting something that could have a potential twist, I wanna make sure I don't have a twist in that, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna marry these lines together. And this stuff is gonna unlay pretty easy. This is pretty soft laid manila. But what I should be looking for is something that looks like it's one continuous line if I took away these strands. Okay, and then I have parallel ones here, right? And so the tucking is pretty simple for this. The marriage is important. This is where I see a lot of people fail. They have big gaps in their marriages. They have fine tucks, right? So like I always like to say, no tucking before you have a decent marriage. Okay, so here, if you guys can see, on these opposing lines, the first one I'm gonna take here is I'm gonna go over this one and under the next one. And what I like to do is grip, okay? And just bring it through, okay? And I'll twist it back so it's kinda, got its shape to it. And then what's a really important thing to do is not to twist the line, but to actually rotate the whole thing. So again, these lay next to each other. I'm gonna go over this one and under this one. And I'm gonna put it through, okay? Then I'm gonna take the next one, I'm gonna pull it, rotate it. I'm gonna go over the one that it was laying next to and under the other one. So now, here's where I probably differ with some people. Some people like to continue tucking. What I like to do is rotate. And if this was a really long line, I just might have to stand on the other side, but it's not that much. And now I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna take this strand and tuck it over the one next to it and under the next one. Okay, I'm gonna rotate it. I'm gonna pick this one up and go over this one right here and under the next one to it. I don't even need to make sure it's tight yet. I'm gonna do the last one. I'm gonna go over this strand right here and under this strand right here. Has not been tucked under yet. And so now I've completed a marriage. Now what I want to do is I just want to snug it up a little bit. I don't have to pull very tight to make sure it's snug, okay? I'm not pulling very tight. And there, I have a marriage. And sometimes it helps to twist and bring it up. Rotate it, twist and bring it up. Twist your strands, bring it back up, okay? And then I can twist and bring these just nice and snug, okay? Now, my marriage is holding, right? That's good. That's pretty simple. There's my first steps in my marriage. And now I can continue. Once I've made my marriage good and I've done both sides, now I can add a couple more tucks on this side, a couple more tucks on this side, and my short splice will be complete. So, just wanna lift it up, strand, bring it in there, rotate, lift up, tuck. And you might need a tool like a marlin spike or a fid or a screwdriver or something like that that you can use to open that up. But putting in a splice is not hard. This is pretty easy stuff to put it into. Okay, I've done one more, and I'm gonna twist it again, bring it up, twist it again, bring it up, twist it, and bring it up. I'm gonna do one more set of tucks on this one. Go like this. Okay, bring it up. Lay this over. I don't want to put any unnecessary kinks in my line. Bring it up. Okay. Okay, that side is done. I'm gonna rotate the whole thing, and then I will do 2 more tucks on this side. So, start anywhere you want, as long as you're only tucking one strand in each rotation. Okay, over. Okay, lifting this up, just tucking it under, kind of using the tape as a fid too, keeps it all together. And now I need one more tuck. Last tuck. Okay. Just want to make sure that everything looks good, right? I can't push a gap open in the center. There's no opening in there, right? Just draw these nice and tight. Some people will like to maybe use like a fid, kind of roll out over your fid, or some people will, a lot of times you can use your feet or your hand on a surface if you want, just to kind of make it all sink in there. But there is a short splice. Now, one thing that I've learned in the past couple of years is electrical tape. Electrical tape traps moisture. It can cause rot in the end of these. So you want to be careful leaving tape on there if it's going to be something that you're afraid is going to be critical, right? So, and another thing you want to do is be careful not to cut it too short, or it'll keep coming through. What you can do is cut it right about here, leave, excuse me, no electrical tape on it, and eventually over time as it tightens, stretches out, swells and contracts and shrinks back up, and those hairs are gonna start to break off. But that should be what your short splice looks like. Again, if it's gonna try to pass through a block, it might not happen because you have that extra width in there. So let's see here. I'll just give you a quick demonstration. And this is why we might want to use a long splice, right? So now if I have a block and I try to get this through there, even if I tapered it, even if I were to taper it, it still would get caught up. And that's what we're talking about when it increases the size. It won't be able to run through a block. So there you go. There's your how you would demonstrate for a short splice. All right, guys. Thank you very much.